The biggest tag team matchup in WrestleMania history officially confirmed for WrestleMania Saturday. The Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now, there's obvious two outcomes that can come from this that directly affect WrestleMania Sunday. What do you guys think is going to happen on WrestleMania Saturday? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and also tell you in advance my prediction for WrestleMania 40 and what I think is going to happen post WrestleMania 40 with the WWE Undisputed Championship. Now, you guys watch the show, you already know the stipulation, but in case you don't, if The Rock and Roman Reigns win on WrestleMania Saturday, then it is Bloodline rules on WrestleMania Sunday. The Bloodline welcome to be involved, anything goes, no disqualifications, the list goes on. Cody and Seth win, then it is Bloodline free. Cody gets Roman one-on-one, no questions asked, no Paul Heyman, no Solo Sikoa, no Jimmy Uso, and most importantly, no Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But what is going to happen on WrestleMania Saturday? Now, first thing I want to address about this matchup is this, and I'll be honest, it's a very small portion of people. I don't think majority think this is going to happen because, quite frankly, it makes zero sense for it to happen. But there is people out there who, for some reason, one or another, agree, or I should say believe, that Seth Rollins is going to turn on Cody Rhodes, whether it be on WrestleMania Saturday or even WrestleMania Sunday itself, and eventually cost Cody Rhodes the WWE Championship. Now, I wanted to address that in this video. I made a short last week, but that really didn't get the whole point across. Seth Rollins has zero business turning on Cody Rhodes, whether it's on Saturday or Sunday at WrestleMania 40. A lot of people don't want to see Cody and Seth in any capacity. Here's the thing. I'm down for Cody versus Seth eventually. You want to run Cody versus Seth 4 at Backlash, at SummerSlam. You want to do it at WrestleMania 41. I don't care. But it needs to be under different circumstances for the WWE Championship and with a completely different story built behind it. I don't want to see Cody and Seth non-title at one of these upcoming shows in 2024 because Seth, for some odd reason, decided to turn on Cody Rhodes. You can make up whatever reasoning you want that Rollins would turn on Cody at WrestleMania, but it is not a good enough reason to sell that in any capacity. And again, I don't think this is going to happen. I just, honestly, I think it's just a small minority of people that believe it's going to happen. And quite frankly, I think we can completely, for the most part, rule that out for WrestleMania. If anybody's going to be turning on anybody, whether it's on Saturday or Sunday, it's going to be between The Rock and Roman Reigns. Cody and Seth have no reason to backstab one another. And some people may say the reasoning, again, and even though I already brushed it off, but the reasoning for something like that would be their past history. The same past history that they squashed back in the lead up to Survivor Series. That was the time they were kind of butting heads. Now they're on the same side. So I don't care any reasoning somebody could try to give me. Rollins turning on Cody absolutely makes no sense in 2024 as of right now. And the next time we see Cody versus Rollins will be under completely different circumstances, not because Rollins turned on Cody and cost him the WWE Championship. Now let me talk about what I think is going to happen on WrestleMania Saturday. Now let me start with saying I don't think this is the only time we're going to see The Rock lacing up those boots in 2024. And quite frankly, just in general, not going to be the last time we see The Rock lace up the boots overall. You know, when we thought Rock versus Roman for all these years, we thought Rock's going to come back eventually, do that matchup, and that's it. But we are living under a completely different set of circumstances at this point. It is literally part of the storyline at this point that The Rock is part of the owners on the board of directors, if I can get it out, in the WWE. The Rock's not going anywhere. Is he going to be wrestling on every other pay-per-view? Obviously not. But the fact is, Rock going to be at WrestleMania 41. I absolutely believe that. And Rock wrestling before WrestleMania 41 sometime or another in 2024, I think is absolutely on the table. But against who and how do we get there? And you guys have heard me say in some past videos that I do think there's a chance that The Rock turns on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, and that this whole thing that people have talked about The Rock basically infiltrating the Bloodline to break them apart from within and actually be alongside Cody Rhodes this entire time, I do think that's a small chance, but as we have seen this played out over the last couple of weeks, I think we will eventually get The Rock versus Roman, obviously, and that split will happen. I just don't think it's going to come as soon as WrestleMania at this point. When it comes to WrestleMania Saturday, one guy I honestly think should take the pinfall, and honestly, that's Cody Rhodes. And there's no shame in Cody taking the pinfall on that night in this tag team matchup after Solo interferes and Heyman interferes and whatever the hell goes on in that tag team matchup. And I specifically on Saturday night would have The Rock pin Cody Rhodes, because imagine the heat on The Rock, especially going into another matchup in 2024. If he pins Cody the night before Cody is going to challenge Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship, the levels of boos in that stadium would be fantastic. It would just give Cody all the more fuel to come out on the other side on the next night on WrestleMania Sunday. Now, I will state, even though I don't think Rock and Roman will be split apart by the end of WrestleMania 40, I would not be surprised to see a little bit of dissension in that tag team matchup. I mean, you already see, I don't want to say a butting of heads, but there is an awkward presence when the Bloodline is in the ring and when Roman and Rock are now sharing the spotlight, when for years it's just been Roman Reigns as the guy. This past Friday night on SmackDown, instead of acknowledge me, it was acknowledge us, which is a very different take for the Bloodline, and I don't see that being something that lasts very long. If we know anything about this Roman Reigns character that has been portrayed for the last few years, Roman sharing that spotlight with anybody is not something Roman Reigns likes to do. I do not think Roman and Rock are going to be alongside for a long ride, but I don't think it's going to come to an end at WrestleMania 40. But I definitely would look out for a little bit of butting of heads in that tag team matchup on Saturday. But when we get the result, Rock pinning Cody Rhodes is the way I would go. And of course, if that happens, that means anything goes on Sunday night, which just in general is sick, because we had a great wrestling match between Cody and Roman last year. I'm all for breaking the barriers down and letting these guys loose on WrestleMania Sunday this year. Anything goes. Anybody's basically welcome to interfere, which is basically what everybody's been calling for anyway, that this match might end up being. This Sunday night, and I know people have said it a bunch on social media at this point, but Roman and Cody on Sunday night is going to be the most WWF Attitude Era overbooked scenario that we have gotten in years, and everybody means that in the best way possible, and I'm there too. You go back and watch any pay-per-view from those days, there's interferences, there's chair shots, somebody's getting screwed over, like, it's chaos. So when you go back and watch those pay-per-view main events from some of those Attitude Era years, WrestleMania 17, one of the greatest, if not the greatest WrestleManias of all time, with one of the most mind-blowing endings of all time, the chaos that took place on that night, we could be seeing those antes upped on WrestleMania Sunday this year, and I'm all for it. If the Bloodline wins on Saturday night, that means it's Bloodline rules, which basically means anything goes. So when you get Roman and Cody on Sunday, and it's probably just starting a normal matchup with maybe Heyman at ringside, and then Jimmy comes out, and then Solo comes out, and then The Rock makes his way out there, and eventually this one-on-one match literally turns into a 3-on-1, 4-on-1, maybe Seth comes out there even after he's probably already lost, hopefully, his world championship to Drew McIntyre earlier in the night. He hobbles his way out there and is getting his ass kicked too. And then it's almost too good to be true. It sounds so hypothetical, but it's also the most realistic thing. And again, everybody's calling for it, man. WrestleMania last year was literally Avengers Infinity War, and this year is literally Avengers Endgame, with the Avengers assembling on WrestleMania Sunday to take down Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and then they can go off and do their other thing, but WrestleMania is where it all culminates for one guy, and that's Cody Rhodes. You know, I'm sure we're gonna get Jay and Jimmy at WrestleMania, so if Jimmy's out there causing a ruckus, Jay can come out and be the equalizer. Seth Rollins can come out there if he's in any condition to. Cody's already gonna be in the matchup. John Cena just said the other day he is free WrestleMania weekend, and the last time we saw him, he was getting mutilated by Solo Sikoa. So you could see Cena running out there and helping even the odds for Cody Rhodes. Whatever that's going to be, that's a whole nother scenario that's just like, hey, let's have fun with it. Let's make it the best it could possibly be. But come Sunday night, those Bloodline rules will backfire on Roman Reigns, and I don't think it's going to be The Rock turning on Roman. I think it's just going to be all these equalizers, guys that the Bloodline have beat up for years. Cody, Seth, Jay, maybe Cena, maybe whoever. You know, some people have literally said, and it's crazy because, again, it's also realistic. We got The Rock on the Bloodline side. Can you imagine the eruption if the glass shattered and Stone Cold Steve Austin walked his way down that aisle to be the equalizer to The Rock? That is so hypothetical, but also so realistic at the same time. And again, that's just having fun. booking, all that stuff. But no matter which way it happens, Cody defeating Roman, because we finally saw the fall of the Bloodline on WrestleMania Sunday, is absolutely where we need to head. But as I've stated multiple times in this video, I don't think Roman Reigns is going to lose because of The Rock. If anything, The Rock may be the guy who is trying to take over the Bloodline a little bit after we get through WrestleMania 40. Remember what I said earlier, The Rock needs to pin Cody Rhodes on WrestleMania Saturday, and that needs to happen for one reason and one reason only, because that can set up Cody versus Rock for the WWE Championship one-on-one, whether that be in May, whether that be in Saudi Arabia in May, whether they save it for August at SummerSlam, whatever it needs to happen, Cody versus Rock one-on-one, I do believe is going to happen in 2024, and I do believe the WWE Championship will be on the line, and Rock pinning Cody on Saturday can be the reason to get there. And obviously The Rock doesn't necessarily need to earn his championship matchup. He's a heel, he's in the Bloodline, he owns power in this company. He could just book himself in a match realistically, and it makes sense for him to do so. But there's a little bit of Bloodline, you know, more butting of heads there if Rock was the one who pinned Cody Rhodes. Roman lost on Sunday. And then you remember that segment last year after the Usos lost the tag team titles and Roman was kind of hyping them up like, yeah, we're going to get the tag team titles back in the Bloodline, but it's not going to be you guys to do it. It's going to be me and Solo. We can kind of get that again this year, but this year it's going to be Roman tasting his own medicine. Imagine the segment on SmackDown with The Rock telling the Bloodline, we're going to get the WWE title back, this, that, and the third. Oh, but it's not going to be you, Roman. It's going to be me. I'm fighting Cody Rhodes at freaking Night of Champions or SummerSlam or whatever the pay-per-view is going to be. And just that alone is going to cause a big uproar. It's going to cause a butting of heads in Roman and Rock. And then when Rock eventually goes on to lose by hook or by crook, maybe Roman even screws The Rock, when that match happens. That's all the final nail that you need for Roman and Rock's ties to be severed, and who turns on who. Freaking have fun with it. But then you can set your sails in The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 41 next year, and now it actually has some legit storyline and build behind it, outside of the fact that, hey, they're family and they want to wrestle. And when it comes to Cody Rhodes, man, like, winning that WWE Championship is going to bring a breath of fresh life to just some of the main events and the PLEs in general. Like Cody defending it against the Seth Rollins, I'm down for. Especially, that's one of the reasons I think Rollins needs to lose that world title at WrestleMania. On top of the fact that Drew McIntyre's just, it's his time, McIntyre and Punk in the summer, a whole story that writes itself. Rollins losing his world title, but then helping Cody win the WWE title. Now there's grounds for not Rollins turning on anybody, but to eventually build a slow but sure story between Rollins and Cody for whether that's at SummerSlam or the end of 2024, next year, whenever. Then I'd be down for Seth versus Cody, and then all the other things you can line up. Cody versus Orton obviously writes itself eventually. That's a match a lot of people are calling for, including myself, for SummerSlam this year. But if they save it for a WrestleMania 41, another pay-per-view in between, I'm all for it, dude. Cody winning the WWE Championship and moving away from Bloodline business is going to be a breath of fresh life. So much so, just as it's going to be for Roman Reigns and seeing what he can do for the first time in this head of the table tribal chief role, but without the WWE Championship. He has held it his entire heel run over the last 4 years. Roman without the title at some point becomes a more interesting story to tell than Roman with the title, because we've now been there and done that for a long time. I'm just as excited for post-WrestleMania as I am WrestleMania itself. But that is what needs to happen. Signed, sealed, and delivered on WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday, and moving forward into this spring and summer on Friday Night SmackDown and in the WWE. But of course, I want to throw the discourse out to you guys. Let me know your predictions way in advance. We still got 4 weeks to go, and I'm sure a lot more ideas are going to flow in and out. We'll talk about them in upcoming videos. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And you know, why you're down there. I'm just throwing this out there. You know, you may or may not have noticed that we're wearing some new merch today, and I'm not talking about the Rhea Ripley shirt. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking, let me get up close here. The Noah Nation Wrestling hats are officially in. And you know, I'm not saying you gotta go pick one up, but if you'd like to, they're down below. Link in description on the merch store. Go get it. You see how hot it looks. It's gonna improve your looks by 10. So I'm just throwing it out there. They're available now. That's all I'm saying. But nonetheless, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. It's gonna be the first of 2 videos today, so be sure to stay tuned and check out that video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.